Right here is the OP201 greaser for the overhead. And right here we're showing you the wire. This is your hot, neutral, and your ground coming in to your TB1, which is in our box up here. This is your TB5, which is in this box, terminal block. Okay. So right here, the customer sometimes shares this 1, 2, 3 into 1 TB. We call this the Brad Harrison cable, the yellow cable. It'll come into that box. We say on the wiring diagram to have one interrupted on both, uninterrupted power. But you can share it in the box if that's okay with a customer. We also have the blue and the black, which is 5 and 6, 1J2, 1J3, and it's going to come from this box, Brad Harrison. It's going to mount in this box to 5 and 6 on 1 TB. Your forward run is 11 and 12. That comes from your PLC. And you can get that in 24 volt or 115 volt. And you can turn this greaser on when your conveyor is running forward. Here's the manual for what you need for this system whenever it's shipped to your plant, what you got to have on plant level side. Right here we're showing you need 80 psi plant air. That's this regulator right here. And you'll see that it needs 80 psi plant air. That's incoming air, okay? After that, your grease bucket is going to have to be set at 40 psi run condition. It cannot be over 40 psi, your bucket, your regulator. Anything over that, you're going to get blowback. The more you set this up for pressure, you're not going to get more grease in this greaser. It's 0.025 cubic inches of grease, no more, no less. So right here, our next regulator we're going to talk about is the 200 psi for the grease regulator. Right here, as you'll see, as you get over 200 psi, you can relieve this right here. So this is what we like to do when we run this for the first time, is we'll run it up. Sometimes the pressure will get up here. We'll bleed the air out of the system with this pressure relief valve, okay? So right here, we're on 5 TB, which is the grease bucket box, okay? So right here, we're showing you on 15 and 16, you can send this to your PLC to give you power on. So here's your 15, 16 in here. That's a 24 volt back to your PLC to say my power is on. If somebody was to toggle it off right here, then you would know that it would send that to your PLC. So the 17 and 18 is whenever it gets low level, you would have a tank empty switch, okay? It'd be red. See, this is power on, this is tank empty. So we've got a, in this bucket, it's a weight in here, and it tells it's pulling down, and it's showing you what the level is on this bucket by pulling in your switch. So what we'll show you in this box right here, you got 1, 2, and 3 right there on that. Well, there's your 1, 2, 3, 1 TB. That's your power, neutral, and your ground coming in. All right. Then we also got the 5 TB. We got 1, 2, and 3 coming into the same port on 1 TB. You can also share them ports, as you can see. We have the Brad Harrison's, what we call this, the yellow line. It runs all the way to your greaser. And you can have that as your blue and your black goes from 5.6 on 5 TB to 5.6 in here. So it'll come with a jumper on 5.6. Just pull the jumper and put your blue and your red into that 1 TB. Your forward run comes into 11 and 12. What you'll need to do is from your PLC, run your forward run right here is 11 and 12. Will come in right there, and that's your 11 and 12 in there. That's your forward run. If you run a relay from your Mighty Lube system, it's going to go to N2 to your Mighty Lube controller back here, and then that's going to plug into your 7 and 9 on 1 TB. Guys, we're going to show you that this comes in on a 36-inch rail section. It's cut right here, as you can't see, but we come in with tabs right here that'll mount. We cut the rail out here. We'll cut the rail out right here. And this is where you weld it in. You can weld across the top, the bottom. Don't weld in the gut. The next thing you want to do is, like, before you weld it on, you can take these arms off. So I'm going to show you to pull this air off right here. You can pull your grease line off right here. You know, and you just set that down. And then what you do is you clip this right here, unclip this right here on the side. See how I've got it? I'll unclip it, and I can pull this whole arm off. And what I want to do is I'll set it in the floor, and then I'll weld that system up and be ready to go. It'll get it out of my way. That way I won't damage the greaser when I'm trying to weld it in. It's also handy to work on it at this point. So, see, put it right back up. Plug in my air pressure right here. Put my grease in here. Boom, we're good. I want to show y'all real quickly that you can turn on your system with a simple ink pen. Right here, I don't know if Michaela can show me, but there is a switch on the back side, and I can operate this manually by just pushing in the MAC valve air. And I can lock it on too, where I can mechanically run this greaser with it electrical to confirm that all the mechanical positioning is working. Another point is, we'll look right here, you can get close, Michaela. When this thing comes in and I get my arms on, if this is not lined up perfectly, as we see right here, you know, I'm trying to say, hey, is this hitting my zert fitting on my wheel correctly? Here's my adjustments right here. These two right here, bolts, that's what you'll loosen up to drop it down. Here's where you loosen up first. You'll loosen these up so your bracket can slide up and down or in and out. I suggest marking this so you know how far, and your adjustments right here, I would mark that, scribe it. That way you know how far you come back and you can take that measurement. But here, loosen these up. These will drop it down. These pull it in and out. On both sides you can do this. That's most importantly. And then that way you get your coupler coming out, where you can see how you can push your coupler out and you can get that in and fire it on your grease zert. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all, open the controller box up. Here's N2. This is where I have the relay hooked up. See, there is a positive and negative. The white is positive, the black is negative. That's very important when you're wiring it into the relay. And over here to this. So we set this up in this box. You hit setup, value up the password, hit setup to enter it, and you're gonna actually program N2 external. To external. So that's going to have 0 for N2 because it's going to read off the magnet. And then you've got C2, how many cycles you want in there. It's at 13 now. 6,400 cycles, it's going to lubricate. And then it's just 100 delay on that. That should have you on that. Once you punch in your password, after a Mighty Lube rep or a Opco rep shows you how to do that and program it, you scroll down, menu down till you see N2 external. That's where we've hooked this up to lubricate the trolleys. Most of the systems are N2 to lubricate trolleys. We're going to turn this to yes, and what that's going to do, it's going to give you a 24 volt solid output whenever it cycles to the relay in the greaser control box. So what you'll do is hit setup to get out of it, and it's saved. So you'll scroll down to N2 and you'll see it don't have no T settings. It's N2, C2, and D2. You set your cycles to 6,400. You value up how many ever cycles you want. It's on 13 now. When it gets to 64, it's going to cycle and lubricate your trolley wheels.
So today we're going to do a continuation on the OP201 install or Setup and Debug. There's actual 4 methods to operating this greaser. The most economical, which one you see here currently, is a toggle switch. Now, a toggle switch is as simple as turn the switch on, the greaser operates, and then you turn it off, and it shuts the greaser off. Issue with that, and what I do not recommend, is you're guesstimating when the start and stop of that chain is. You're manually taking care of that greaser to operate it. So there's a lot of, obviously, reasons not to do that. We don't recommend that, but we do have that option available. The next way to operate this would be the 1,000-hour timer. Now, a lot of the, in the past times, a lot of people did utilize that 1,000-hour timer. Again, 1,000-hour timer is going to be based off operational time of the chain, and you would have to have that hooked up into what is called a forward run. That forward run then tells that timer when to turn on and off. If you do not have that forward run go on, that chain could be down for hours, and it might be on a non-cycle, and it's still counting that. So it doesn't have any way to tell that timer to turn on at all. I'm not a big fan of that 1,000-hour timer personally. I still would like to be more automized, but it is a method. It's been a method for years and years in the past. So you do have the ability to do a 1,000-hour timer. The next way is actually an optical controller. The optical controller is going to be very similar to what the MyLoop controller looks like, which we'll show you in a second over here. So the optical controller will have its settings on here where you are automatically taking care of it through a PLC. It looks just like this, except for it's the optical on top. But through that, you then have settings on here with a switch, which will be down more here, which is like an N1 switch. So it's going to actually read your links, and then based off how it's set up, if you have an end of chain or you program that link of your chain in there, it's going to be an automatic system, because now that chain is going to be going off cycles, and based off the cycle time, maybe 1,000 cycles, 2,000 cycles, that chain going around, let's then through a relay tell that greaser, hey, turn on, and we'll do one full cycle of grease on that system. That's a very good way to automize your greaser. The final way is getting the data behind it. So that's using the full MyLoop monitoring data system. So this will actually hook up the MyLoop system as well. Same functionality as the optical system. You're going to do it off the cycle time. The only added benefit of this is you're going to now have that data. When it greased, how long it greased. And as time goes on, we're going to literally tell you how much grease is even in your bucket, if that greaser shut off, all that information back to your data. So you have 4 methods. Again, the toggle, most economical, stepping up just slightly over that. You got your 1,000-hour timer, which gives it a little bit more of that automized area, but you do, it is based off that timer. Jumping into your first level of real automatic level is using that controller through Opco. And then the final part is the Industrial 4.0. Again, that data behind when that greaser turned on and off, and connect that directly into your MyLoop monitoring system. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Any questions, obviously, please contact us anytime. Go directly to our website at www.myloop.com or www.opcolube.com, or contact us at 231-924-6160. Thank you so much.